teenager in observing life, drawing, and sculpting life. So I've tried to replicate this with the knowledge that I've learned over the years about the hand and the body. What so impressed me when I found it was the spot for the scaphoid right here. Before the thenar mound becomes apparent, there's a kind of, it's not really a flat spot, but it's a spot without muscles for the scaphoid bone's prominence. And the scaphoid and the pisiform together can be seen between two little creases just before the eminences come out, the muscular parts. So if you turn your hand like this, you'll see a disappearance of those bones into the articular surface, but if you do this, you'll see that they are discrete, separate forms just before the mound. So where Michelangelo shows that is that beyond these two mounds, and especially beyond the thenar or thumb mound, there's just a little thing poking out, and that is the scaphoid. So now if you want to draw your hand like this, you're going to have to get a mirror, because you can't manage to have your hand take that pose and draw it. You can try, but you can't. So what you need is a mirror, and I'll try to do that on the next break, get the mirror and show you how to do it. And it would be a nice exercise to try at home, to try to replicate a fresh drawing in the pose that Michelangelo has chosen. And poses are very, very important. And this is a typical hand pose and a natural one, because the fingers are bending at the first joint, and they're abducted from each other slightly, and it's a very relaxed, comfortable, and the thumb is at right angles, a very relaxed, comfortable pose. And he probably had someone pose for him, or he had a mirror and did his own. Now, other than that, turning the edge there beyond the eminences, and I'll make the eminences really show by giving the value that he uses on the turning edge. And it's interesting that this is not the kind of classical turning edge that Poussin and the classicists use, but it's definitely a chiaroscuro type of volume being shown. Not a slice of a dark side and a light side, which of course Poussin kind of introduced to the world, which drove us eventually into Cubism and a kind of breaking up of planes onto the canvas. But this is typically a volume of sensual pleasure and fullness, positive attitude towards life, and lack of intellectualisms, and the kind of vitality that people still appreciate today in Michelangelo and accept as being great art, even though they don't really want anyone today in the world to imitate it and to draw like this or to be like this, because it's a modern world and that's the way people used to be, and they're not that way anymore. So anyway, here's the thenar eminence, and here's the hypo, or below the thenar eminence, and we can see a darkness where, it's funny, where the hook of the hamate should be, or where the muscles are coming out. But you could assume, if you look at your hand, there's a spot where the second prominent bone after the pisiform, the hamate, is. And of course on the other side we have scaphoid and trapezoid. Do you want to check the time? Trapezoid.
37 seconds.
Oh, I still said some seconds. Okay. Now the next important thing after these eminences and the turning of the corner is the thumb being established for its two joints with a good strong line coming up towards its first joint. Of course, it only has two joints, it's the thumb. And here's an expansion for the articular surface, and then the tip of the thumb is delicate, the delicate little sensor that can see in the dark. And if you close your eyes and feel with your thumb, you know when the paper starts, and you know how thick the pad of paper is, and you can feel the world and understand it by using the tips of your fingers, right? Okay, so this is the first of some art. I'm going to also show you another Michelangelo later. Let's go ahead with